This is the last video, finally, of this set that I was making about mental health, and it has taken so much longer than I thought it would and I said it would, and so apologies for that, but we are finally here. This is the last video, and today I am going to be talking about anxiety. So my anxiety is just a mess. It's the most complicated and confusing of all my disorders because it varies and it isn't consistent within itself at all, and so it's very, very difficult for me to look after myself and anticipate what is going to happen next, which means, you know, putting things in place to keep myself safe. I just don't know, and I can put everything in place and then it can still all just fall to shit because my anxiety can pop up in a new way that I hadn't anticipated, I haven't experienced before, or just a way that I haven't experienced for such a long time that I just, you know, don't even think that that's going to happen again, and then bam, you know, terrible panic attack, very embarrassing, in a pub. I wrote about that on Instagram, go check it out. So day to day I suffer from anxiety in a kind of moderate to mild form. It's always there, bubbling away. I can feel kind of uneasy all the time, and then I get nervous about very, 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 very normal things, going to the post office, buying stamps, doing the school run, all things that just kind of, well, going to the post office, I actually can put it off for weeks on end until I finally have to. But even things like the school run, making Dylan's packed lunch, filming YouTube videos, writing blogs, getting dressed, answering the phone, making phone calls, the anxiety that is bubbling away in a very mild, as it goes, kind of way on a day-to-day basis, then will flare up to just a moderate level that's still manageable when I'm confronted with doing pretty much anything that is anything. There's no particular reason why things make me anxious. Sometimes I'm just really scared that people don't like me, even my friends, and so picking up the phone to my friends, I'm like, oh god, no, this is the phone call where they tell me that they hate me. Like, my anxiety gets into my head and makes me think things that are just really crazy sometimes, and then of course because I'm thinking these things, I then get scared of doing them or of them happening, and that is how my anxiety generally affects me. I also have like issues with meeting people and going out and doing things, which has been a massive issue with my family and my friends for a very long time, because, you know, I will cancel on birthdays and cancel on meeting people and cancel on going to family parties, or I will go to family parties and then have to leave or not even be able to walk into the door, because being around a lot of people, especially I think because a lot of people know about my mental health, I suddenly feel like there's a spotlight on me and I feel very uncomfortable, which then makes my anxiety kind of go ah! It's been a very long journey with me to find a way to cope with my anxiety, because 6 or 7 years ago, I just didn't at all. I didn't go out. I abused substances. I mostly abused alcohol in order to gain the confidence to overcome my anxiety so I could go out and do things. I've had a really, really massive struggle with anti-anxiety medication. Hey, did you know that anti-anxiety medications, like a big part of them, a big group of them, are antihistamines? And I'm allergic to antihistamines, which basically means I am allergic to the medication you take when you have an allergic reaction. Okay, off topic, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've had a long journey with finding the right anti-anxiety medication, and diazepam has changed my life. It's changed my life. I don't take it a lot. It's a very, very, very need to take it, absolutely cannot cope without it basis. I think in a year I might take, 15 tablets, and that's it. And it has changed my life because I can deal with the mild to moderate anxiety, but with an arrhythmia, which is an irregular heartbeat, anxiety attacks can be really dangerous for me, and I can't calm down from them because they just get worse, and I get this tunnel vision where all I see is the thing I am anxious about, and I can't hear anything outside. It's almost like I'm not there. It's like I am somewhere else and I am experiencing something else. All the voices, all the people, I can't see, I can't hear. It's like I'm hallucinating, but not seeing anything. Hallucinating inside my brain. And all I can see and hear and focus on is whatever is causing me anxiety, which is scary and overwhelming. And having diazepam means that I've only experienced one of those panic attacks once in the last 18 months, and that is huge for me. But then when I did experience it, I didn't have any diazepam, and it was only a couple of days ago, and it was an absolute shitstorm, and it was really embarrassing, and I'm kind of scared that everybody... And then obviously my anxiety has popped up, because my anxiety now is in my ear, and I'm really scared that the people who I love and respect, and my friends, and who I want to spend time with, and people who I've only just met but are really, really awesome, and I want them to like me, and I'm scared that they just hate me. And because of my anxiety, regardless of what they say, in my heart, in my head, whatever it is, I feel like they hate me. And I always feel like that with my friends. I'm always feeling like my friends would prefer me not to be there. And that makes me, in turn, become the type of person who doesn't demand love or respect. And I will bend over backwards for people. And I love the fact that I bend over backwards for people. But because of my anxiety and because of my fear, my constant fear that my friends don't like me or don't want me around or will be happier without me, I will let people, and my family and Harrison, whoever, I will let people treat me like crap, because I'm scared that if I speak up for myself, then they will leave. And that's a mixture of my borderline personality, of my abandonment issues, and the anxiety about not being enough, not being liked and not being worthy, kind of mishmash together to create a situation where I'm not being treated as I should, and I'm not treating myself as I should treat myself. And it's taken me a long time. It's only really this year that I've been able to say, actually, you know what, this is not okay, this isn't okay, and stand up for what I believe in, and stand up for how people treat me and my children, and then be okay with letting people go who don't treat me right. And that has really changed my life, because I finally am being treated with respect by everybody in my life, and I am strong enough now to know that if somebody doesn't treat me with respect, I can say something, and if they still don't treat me with respect, I can show them the door, because I am worth more than that. And that is the biggest step I've ever taken with my anxiety, was to find some self-worth, because my anxiety tells me that I have none on a constant basis, which I guess is why I'm so scared of doing such menial things like the school run. I just assume that every single parent just thinks I'm a shitty, horrible parent, and nobody wants to be my friend, and then in turn that's going to make them, you know, not invite the children over to their houses for play dates. And I see parents in the playground who are, you know, and even though I rationally know that, you know, they're talking because they went to mother and baby group together, or they're talking because their children are in the same class, or they're talking because their children were friends in nursery, like, my anxiety really holds me back from talking to people. And so the reason why I don't have the blah, blah, blah in the playground isn't because people hate me, it's because I'm too scared to talk. But then seeing that all around me and being separate from that then just fuels the anxiety. And it's only this year, since I realised I had some self-worth, that I've actually been able to talk to parents and, oh my god, Dylan's birthday party, go look on the block. Dylan's birthday party, I invited 25 children to my house and their parents stayed, and it was good. It was good. Oh my God. And yeah, I've been challenging my anxiety a lot recently, and I have made huge steps with being able to do things, but I still can't answer the phone. I still hate going to the post office, and I had a massive anxiety attack in a pub in front of people who I really want them to like me. And that's why my anxiety is such a shit show, because I just don't know. I can be doing so well. I can be like, yes, I have worth. Yes, I can talk to people. And then, you know, I will panic over a phone call, have this massive anxiety attack, which is just humiliating and scary and whatever. And I feel like I'm back at square one, but I'm not. I know I'm not. But it's also just a very harsh reminder that with anxiety, you don't know what's coming. Or I don't know what's coming. It's just not consistent. And that scares me, and it makes me very sad, because sometimes I feel like for me, it doesn't matter how much progress I make. Something like the other day could still always happen. And that sucks. So now is the part of the video where I shut up about me and start talking very generally. It is the part of the video and the last one that I'm going to do, which is what is anxiety anyway? So anxiety is the word we use to describe feelings of unease, worry or fear, and they can be both emotional reactions and also physical reactions. Although it can be really, really stressful, scary, uneasy, it's actually a really, really natural response to these feelings. It's the flight or fight response that is completely natural within all humans. So while it is completely natural to feel anxious sometimes, it crosses over into the spectrum of mental health when you start to feel anxious all the time, when you worry about negative experiences and it becomes self-perpetuating and self-fulfilling, and when you can't make decisions for yourself and you can't live for yourself and your own life because your anxiety holds you back. Some physical symptoms of anxiety include nausea, feeling dizzy, sweating, your heart racing, having pins and needles, and like churning in your stomach. If you have anxiety long term, you can experience depression, insomnia, which is a lack of sleep. Wow, I don't sleep. A lowered sex drive. Some people with anxiety abuse drugs and alcohol, which is something that I did a lot at the start when I didn't really understand what it meant. And also a lowered immune system. After normal anxiety, as it were, you also have anxiety disorders. They are generalised anxiety disorder, panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Something that many people with anxiety experience are panic attacks. Panic attacks are really scary, and they're something that people who don't have anxiety generally don't understand. A lot of the time, when people are having panic attacks, feelings are very heightened and very extreme. They can feel like they can't breathe, like they can't move, or sometimes even that they're going to die. With all mental health problems, self-care is so important, and anxiety is no different. Some things you can do to help with anxiety that are really simple and really easy include talking to somebody you trust, offloading and sharing your problems. A lot of people try breathing exercises and also shifting their focus, and they try and do the same, do the two together, and they seem to work really well. Physical exercise helps loads with anxiety. In part it is a distraction, and in part it is the endorphins that are released when you exercise. As well as physical exercise, eating well. When we look after our bodies look after us to an extent. And don't forget that your brain is part of your body, and feeding it well and looking after it will only ever benefit you. A lot of people find listening to music can be really helpful. It is a distraction, and it is something that is lovely, and it also takes your thoughts away from those that are making you anxious. The most common treatment for anxiety are just talking treatments. There's not anything specific like cognitive behavioural therapy or dialectical behavioural therapy that is used with anxiety. It's generally just counselling or therapy. Another option is medication. And like I talked about earlier, medication changed my life. But the types of medication that are generally prescribed include antidepressants, beta blockers, which slow down the heart. So basically when you have anxiety attacks, your heart rate rises, and beta blocks will slow them back down. tranquilizers or benzos, and I can't say it and I'm on it, but it's a neurostimulant, and it is used for all different things, including depression, anxiety, and also nerve pain, because I have really bad nerve damage in my feet. Pregnenolone, gabapentin in the UK it's called, so yeah, gabapentin. For friends and family of people with anxiety, it can be really difficult, because it can be really difficult and frustrating to try and understand why something so simple as answering the phone can cause somebody to have a panic attack. But really, the most important thing to do is not to be angry and to try to empathise with the person. Anxiety is an isolating and scary disorder, and having empathy rather than anger from the people you love is life-changing, and the support that the friends and family can give you really does make all the difference when it comes to coping with anxiety. As usual, I'm going to pop some other little links down in the box down there, because as much as I like to talk and I like to be on YouTube, I am not a mental health guru, and there are people who know far more than me and can be far more helpful. So if you check the box down there, there will be some links. It may take me a little while to put them down, because I upload things and type things separately, because I'm useless, and so is my phone and my camera. But yes, so this is the end of my mental health advocacy, shouting out about my disorders and mental health, talk about it, woo, little series. I hope that you guys found some of these helpful, and if you didn't, I hope you just enjoyed watching them. But yeah, I will be back talking about normal stuff, whatever normal is. Normal for me is mental health and weddings, and so who knows what I'll be back talking about, but I will be back soon. And yeah, I hope these were helpful, and I hope you are all doing well. I hope life is being kind.